talk about things I wish I knew before having a baby. So before having Chase, I thought I had like things planned out, and I watched so many videos. I googled so many things, and after having Chase, I realized that things that you think are gonna happen or things you think you're gonna need and whatever, you don't really need everything that you really think that, oh, I'm gonna have to do it this way and that's gonna happen that way, and it just doesn't happen that way. Everything kind of like flows. So I wanted to talk about those things that I think that I wish I knew before I had Chase. Okay, so the first thing is, it's nothing like the movies. So you know, in the movie where your water breaks and you rush to the hospital and everybody comes for you at the door and they rush you in on the bed, and then you push and then you have the baby. It's nothing like that. So my water didn't break and I didn't have contractions at home where Chad had to rush me to the hospital or anything like that. It was kind of like a regular appointment, and they checked and the baby's heart rate was low, as I told you in my birth story. So it was kind of like totally different than what I expected. So I read all these things where, you know, your water gonna break and you have to count your contractions and all those things, and I didn't have to do any of those things. So I think you should just go in with an open mind to know that it may not happen that way, and you may have your own story. So you can read all the books you want and you can watch all the stories you want, but nothing happens like that. Everything is like how it's gonna happen for you. So you can't like go in there expecting something. Just, you know, just follow the flow and everything will be okay. The next thing I wanted to talk about is all those things that I put on my registry. So I didn't use half of the things I put on my registry. Chase didn't want to sleep in the bassinet. He didn't like the doctor that everybody raves about on the internet. He didn't like to be swaddled. So there were so many things that I thought I had planned out from my registry, and I needed all these things, and I really didn't need half of them. So the Fisher-Price sleeper, that had a recall, so he didn't use that. So I have so many things here that he just didn't use and didn't like. It's only since he's getting older now, because he's about to be 3 months, that he's starting to use little things. So I would suggest, as a newborn, you don't really need, like, you just need the essentials. So you can use a bassinet, a crib, stroller, just essentials, because you don't really know what your baby's gonna like, and you don't want to get all these things and then not use any of them. So another important thing I think you should do before having a baby is enjoy the time with your partner, because once that baby comes, that time is like gone. It's all about the baby, and it's really important that you guys have that time before. Even enjoy time with yourself before having the baby, because once the baby's here, you don't really think about your husband or yourself or whatever. Everything is about the baby. Even your husband, he's only thinking about the baby. So in the beginning stages, it's really all about the baby, and if you enjoy the time before that baby, it's not so bad. If you don't, then I feel like you'll be missing the time with your spouse or your partner or whatever. So I think you should definitely enjoy that time. Another one I cannot stress is breastfeeding is not that easy. So you don't really think about breastfeeding before the baby, because you think it's just gonna come naturally. But after you have the baby, you know, you come to problems where the milk won't come in. Sometimes you can't breastfeed because if there's no milk, then how are you gonna do it? Or sometimes it takes long to come, and then it's kind of frustrating because the baby's hungry, and if you start off with like feeding them from formula, they may get used to formula and then not want the milk. So it's actually kind of stressful in the beginning, especially having a newborn and having to like change everything to kind of focus on that baby, and then now you have to think about breastfeeding, and it's just not coming as natural as you thought it would. So that's another thing that people don't really consider before having a baby. Some people get breastfeeding naturally and nothing happens and everything's okay, but some people have like a hard time. Like the first day after having Chase, like I had no milk to give him, so we had to like give him formula for the first 2 times he fed, and then a little milk started to come in. And the good thing is they don't need a lot of milk, so even if it's a little that comes, he was still okay, because they only needed a little bit as a newborn. So it's kind of a challenge to breastfeed, to pump, you know, you need like your nursing bras and all those things. So I think those are things that you should focus on and prepare for, that it may not come as easy as you thought it would, and at least you have that in your mind. So once you have the baby, you're not really stressing about breastfeeding. So the next thing is that there's really no such thing as like a perfect parent, especially if you're like a first-time parent. So it's just like, you just have to let things flow and trust your instincts and know that, you know, if you really think something's wrong with the baby, you should check it out, or you don't want to like overthink and whatever. So it's best that you just check things out. There's things you may not know and you just have to be okay with that, because as you go along, you will like figure it out. So there was a lot of things that we didn't know after having Chase, and we were going crazy in the beginning. We're Googling everything. We took him to the doctor for anything, but at least when we took him there, then we had a peace of mind to know that, you know, everything is okay. Like, we just learned as we went along. So you don't stress out if you don't know what to do with the baby, because nobody really knows when you're a first-time mother. Like, this person is new and they're depending on you, but you just have to take a deep breath and know that everything's gonna be okay. And if you really don't know and you really feel concerned about something, you should just consult your doctor and you will figure it out. So by the time you're a second-time mom, if you have another child, you'll have everything down pat. So that brings me to the next one: stop Googling. So we Googled everything, and that was the worst thing ever. So even from pregnancy, I was Googling all symptoms, everything, and like, I didn't have a hard pregnancy, but any little thing that I felt, I Googled, and that was like the worst thing, because it gives you all these sicknesses and all these things that you probably don't even have, and you just start worrying about it, and it's just a disaster. So stop Googling. When you have the newborn, stop Googling, because they're gonna tell you a whole bunch of things, and it can be like nothing that they tell you. It could be something they tell you. The best thing is to do is to take him to the doctor if you really feel like he has an issue or something, because Google will like drive you crazy. And we had to learn that the hard way. When we just had Chase, I think we rushed him to the hospital one night and nothing was wrong with him, and that's all because of Google. So we were Googling, and everything that we Googled, nothing was wrong with him. When we carried him to the hospital, he behaved like nothing had ever happened to him, and he was up and he was lively, and they looked at us like we were crazy. So I would suggest not to Google everything. Okay, so the next one is sleep. So you don't really realize how much sleep you'll not get once this baby is here. So when the baby comes and you deliver, if your baby goes in NICU and you're in the room, which was our case, we still got no sleep, even though the baby wasn't in our room. So we were trying to get as much sleep before he came. The nurses come in every 2 hours. Then you have to start pumping, because you need that milk to start coming in so he can get fed, and then he comes, and then it's just back to back to back. You get home and then you're trying to like change your sleep schedule to match his, and he's waking up every 2 seconds. As soon as you fall asleep, he's up. So enjoy sleep before having a baby, because once he's there, it's going to take a little time before you get used to your new schedule with the baby, because he may not have a schedule in the beginning, and sometimes you get a good baby that may sleep more than another baby. So please enjoy sleep before you have that baby. And last but not least is how much your life changes after the baby. So before the baby, you know, you love this little thing inside of you, but you don't meet him yet. So as soon as you meet him, you realize like how much love you have for someone else. Like, you may think you love him before, but when you look at him, I think that's when everything changes. You no longer think about yourself, you no longer think about anything else, you just think about that baby. And it's like the best feeling in the world once you actually see him. So those are a few things that I think you guys should think about before having a baby. You know, a lot of people don't tell you about these things, and you go into it thinking that it's gonna be like this, and it's not like that, and people get disappointed. But I really just think that you guys should just relax and take it one step at a time, and you'll have like the perfect experience. So that's a little bit about my experience with Chase. So let me know about your experience. Comment down below any videos you guys want to see with me. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.